Hello everybody out there in YouTube land. How are you? Here we are with the government shutdown we are facing. About 6 months ago or more, I did a YouTube talking about how those congressmen and senators in the National Congress and also in the state congresses, how they are violating their oath of office by taking the Grover Norquist no tax, no matter what pledge. Because part of the oath of office is to uphold the U.S. Constitution, which is the support document of the U.S. government. And upholding the U.S. government means maintaining, within the Constitution there is language of maintaining the full faith and credit of the U.S. government. Shutting down the government and using raising the debt ceiling as a blackmail strategy to undo the national laws, which have been duly passed, ratified, and even passed upon by the Supreme Court. This is not upholding the full faith and credit of the U.S. government. So I'm briefly speaking to you again in YouTube land to say that it must be out there, the thought and the idea, the meme, that those congressmen, in this case not senators but congressmen, who in order to try to blackmail the president and their opponents in the Congress to undo a duly affirmed law of the Affordable Care Act by ruining the credit and the credibility of the U.S. government and thereby undermining the U.S. Constitution, in fact are serving as domestic enemies of the U.S. government and the U.S. Constitution. They do solemnly swear, just to read again their oath of office, I do solemnly swear that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic. When they are destroying the credibility of the U.S. government by refusing to pay the bills that the U.S. Congress has voted that they are going to pay, they are serving and acting as a domestic enemy of the U.S. government and therefore of the U.S. people. They are not defending the U.S. people. They are ruining our credit and credibility. And therefore, and they say they took this obligation freely without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion, and that I will well and faithfully discharge the duties of the office on which I am about to enter, so help me God, or so help me whatever they believe in. And this, they are unfit to serve because they are working as an enemy of our government and of our people by shutting it down and ruining its credit and credibility and not upholding the full faith and credit of the U.S. government. Therefore, they should be subjected to, and I believe at least Democratic congressmen and women should introduce some sort of articles of impeachment against people who are willing to shut down the government in order to pursue their own political agenda, contrary to the established laws of the country, such as which the Affordable Care Act is. And they lost an election over that and so on. Now, furthermore, the Speaker of the House, who has a majority of other not, insane, not out of control, congressmen, Republicans and Democrats, to vote down this small minority, I understand, of about 30 die-hard people who are holding everyone else hostage. He has the authority to hold a vote and overrule them. And the only reason he doesn't do it, according to the analysis I have heard, is that he fears they will undermine his position as Speaker of the House, or he might lose that position. Well, never mind. If he is a patriot, he should be happy to be an ordinary congressperson. He certainly will have the nation's gratitude for doing his job, which is to hold a vote and have the majority of the congresspersons vote down this small minority of fanatics who are willing to violate their own oath of office and violate the U.S. Constitution by ruining the full faith and credit and financial credibility of the U.S. government in order to try to enact an agenda that the people as a whole, the majority, have declined to follow. So someone has to say this. There's a code of politeness, there's a code of confusion that we follow where we say, well, they must be conscious bound because they think it's so bad. Meanwhile, millions, if not hundreds of millions of people are seeking affordable care under this act. and they have no right to deprive them of the affordable care that they desperately need. So I'm putting this out. If 10 people hear it, then 10 people can think about it. If 100 people hear it, they can think about it. If the Congress people hear about it, maybe they will act. Their conscience will stir them to act. And possibly those who feel, probably they think they're doing everyone a favor to get rid of this, what they think is a horrendous law. But by doing it in this way, they are violating their oath of office, and they should be subject to impeachment, actually, since they are not serving, they're doing the job they took an oath that they would do. That's all. I have no position to say that. I'm not a political scientist. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not a legislator. I'm just a citizen. But at least I can think clearly, and I can take the oath of office and put it together with the acts that they are currently doing. If it was a Democrat doing it, I would do the same, a Republican or an independent. Whoever threatens the full faith and credit of the United States Constitution and the United States government is serving as a domestic enemy of that government. They are expressing enmity to that government, and they have no right to further pretend to serve as a servant of the U.S. people by serving in the elected role in the U.S. Congress. Thank you very much, and have a great day, including those who will now abandon, hopefully, this blackmail position that they are currently holding, and that we can reopen the government, we can go ahead and get people affordable care, and they can enjoy the same care that the Congress people enjoy and get their salaries back, and everything we can proceed ever after. And they're free to run in a future election on trying to undo a platform of trying to undo the Affordable Care Act, or undo welfare, or undo Medicaid if they think those are proper things to do. But they're not free to undermine the U.S. government and Constitution in order to accomplish those objectives. That's an illegal and a hypocritical way of trying to do it. Thank you very much.